Ew. Am I not on here? Oh, here, I see what I did. 1 second here. Let me fix this little weirdness here. Why am I there we go. Okay. Hey guys, welcome to the channel. I want to do a quick video, and yes, a quick video. I've got some other work I've got to get done. But talking about what's going on down in Galveston County, if you haven't heard, we've got two arrests now. We've got Harvey Freebird and Galveston Island Transparency. I don't think they're in there now, but once I publish this video, I'll go in and I'll send in. First of all, can y'all hear me? I think you can. I'll go in and I'll put those links to those channels, but it's Galveston Island Transparency and Harvey Freebird. What I want to do is show you first the first arrest of Harvey Freebird. But before I get there, I want to kind of let you know what the backstory is and what they're filming here. So Galveston County has decided that the Constitution doesn't exist in Galveston County, and they have set up what they are calling, their own words, a driver's license checkpoint. Um, and this driver's license checkpoint that they're setting up has already, these kinds of things have already been ruled unconstitutional by the Supreme Court. Now, a DUI checkpoint, they have been ruled constitutional as long as they're limited in scope. And even in a driver's license, or excuse me, a DUI checkpoint, they still can't go out there and start forcing, hey, we're doing a DUI checkpoint, needs to see your driver's license registration. That's not how that works. I remember going through a driver's license checkpoint, or not driver's license. I keep saying that because that's the subject of today's video. Going through a DUI checkpoint, and the trooper's like, "Hello, my name is Trooper so and so. We're conducting, this is a DUI checkpoint as established by blah blah blah. Can I see your driver's license and registration, please?" I said, "No, I'd rather not." And they're like, "Well, sir, you've got to show your driver's license and registration." I said, "No, this is a DUI checkpoint, correct?" "Yes, it is." Okay, and does my driver's license, is that going to tell you whether or not I'm drunk? Well, no, sir. We need to see your license. I say, well, if you're doing a DUI checkpoint, you don't need to see my driver's license unless you suspect me of driving under the influence. But I will maintain that my driver's license and insurance aren't going to tell you how much I've had to drink, if anything. And will definitely not tell you whether or not I'm intoxicated. So I'm not going to give this to you. And we had this long argument, and he tried to explain it, and eventually I was let go, allowed to go straight through because of, again, they know in the end it's not legal unless you have reasonable suspicion or probable cause to demand identification like that. But that's not what Galveston County is doing right now. What Galveston County is doing is they're actually setting up driver's license checkpoints. And so Harvey and others are out there filming these checkpoints. But here's the really interesting thing, and this is going to come out most likely in some upcoming lawsuits that I anticipate. If you are a bootlicking filmer and you're out there saying, "Oh, look at what these heroes are doing; they're keeping us safe from people who don't have licenses or something," then you can go wherever you want. But if you're someone like Harvey, who is obviously about police accountability, not police power, then that's where the problem comes in. So I want to show you. This is so Harvey's the at this checkpoint. Now, what they've done leading up to this, I'm not going to show the whole video. As you can see, there's only about a minute and a half left in this video. Again, you can go to Harvey Freebird's channel and see the full thing, arrested for walking and not being approved media. And that's what that means, because the approved media, these people that come out there with cameras and give them fist bumps and talk about what great heroes these unconstitutional actors are, they get to do whatever they want. But they'll invent charges if you're not one of those bootlickers or the approved media that the police want. That if you don't share their vision of truth and you don't speak their news speak, then they're going to do this here. So what they started doing was they started putting up this crime scene tape. And by putting up the crime scene tape, they kept pushing Harvey further and further and closer uh, into the road, essentially, to where you get into the road. And that's where we are here now. So Harvey's pretty much on the shoulder trying to film this, because as you can kind of see, you'll see it better once I start this film here. But you can see the crime scene tape that there's no crime scene here. That you can see the tape that they're putting up, and they've moved it from the beginning. If you go and watch this entire 2 hours, it doesn't start like this, but they continually push him out. And this is what happens. Hopefully, y'all can hear this. I've been having issues with my sound coming through, but hopefully you can hear this. Just let me know if you can't. So you see, here's the whole scene, and you notice they've put this up. This didn't used to be here, and then right over here, this didn't used to be here either. And in order for you to film, there's just no other way than look, here's the tape right here. You can see he's standing on the wall right now. Um, but they've set it to where he can't go back here. He's not allowed to go back here and film. He's got to film from right here. And again, this is just a driver's license checkpoint, folks. This isn't we're not pulling people over because they just robbed a bank. We're not going after Tren de Aragua. We're not going after MS-13. The only gang members here are these guys wearing these vests right here. Um, so you hear the condescension. Oh, no sound. Damn it. I really have no idea what is going on with okay, well, guess what? It doesn't really matter. I'll tell you what's happening. You know, you hear the officer, he comes down, he's like, "Can you step down here for me? Come on, come on, come on, come on," like he's a dog or something. So they're already treating him. You're just gonna have to go watch the video. I really do not understand. Maybe it's because I'm using split screens or split monitors, and maybe one monitor is not picking up the other. I'll figure all that out later. I don't really care. What's important here is that you see how they've set this up. They forced him onto the shoulder of the road there, and now they just told him, "Can you come down? Can you come down?" And I'll since you can't hear it, I'll just explain what these guys are doing. So Harvey just said, "Wait a minute, you're arresting me?" And he's like, "For what?" And he says, "Walking down the wrong side of the road, ladies and gentlemen, walking down the wrong side of the road." Now, keep in mind, this right here is a closed road. They've closed it. It's not even an active roadway anymore. It's closed. This is like if you shut down your your neighborhood street for like a neighborhood picnic and you put up cones and you close off the road, or downtown when they close down the roads because they've got some kind of fair going on or something like that. The walking down the wrong side of the road statute no longer really applies because it's no longer really a through travel road. And yes, it is. But here, there's also an exception to this where if it's unsafe, then you can walk down one side of the road or the other. But this is a checkpoint. This is a checkpoint right here. They are in a and they've marked the whole thing off as a checkpoint. So this idea that he's in the middle of the road, so they literally arrest him. He said walking down the wrong side of the road, and he's trying to say, "Please give my camera to my friend." There he is, getting hauled off. Look at that violent criminal, Robert Harvey. Uh, and keep in mind too, look, this other side of the road shut down. Shut down. It's a one-way road right here. A one-way road right here. Now, it's a class C misdemeanor. Okay, it's a ticket. It's a ticket. That's it. But of course, they're not just going to write him a ticket. No, because it's Harvey. And Galveston County are one of the most corrupt. Apparently, they've become that way. One of the most corrupt counties here in Texas. So they're not going to issue a ticket like they do to everybody else. They are going to retaliate. These are important words. They are going to retaliate against him and arrest him for walking down the wrong side of the road instead of issuing a ticket, because you know why? You can beat the rap, but you're not going to beat the ride. That's what they're doing here. They know for a fact he's going to beat the rap, but he's not going to beat the ride. They're going to throw him in a cage with all the other people for doing what? Not walking down the wrong side of the road. That's the excuse for filming. For filming. Okay. All right. So there's the first one. So these guys are out of their minds. First of all, they're operating an illegal checkpoint. Here's Harvey Freebird's channel right here. Make sure you go and subscribe to Harvey Freebird right there. And then now we're going to go. So Harvey also filmed this. So Bruce Redman, Galveston Island Transparency, was with him on this. Bruce is driving. Bruce lives in the area. And look at this. There's another illegal, unconstitutional checkpoint right here. Now I wish I had sound for this. I don't. I wish I had sound for this because there's a little bit more discussion going on. And since there's not sound, I'll explain it to you. But if you just go to, again, Harvey Freebird's channel, you can watch this whole thing here. Bruce arrested at illegal checkpoint. Yes, it's an illegal checkpoint. And I'll narrate what's going on right here, because here is where they actually admit to the crime. Okay, you're not gonna hear it. You'll hear it if you go and watch it. Just start at about the 22-minute mark. You'll hear the deputies admit to the criminal acts that they're doing here. So right now they're just driving down. They see, oh crap, look at this. There's a little checkpoint. All of a sudden they got these cones up everywhere, right? Oh, turn on closed captioning. Let me do that. There we go. Idea. Now I'm going to cut this a couple times because I want to show you guys something. So he just said, you just read that there, and I can hear it. I know you can't hear it. He just said this is a driver's license checkpoint. He didn't say DUI. He didn't say anything else legal. And you also notice right here, he's wearing a body camera right here. So, but he says driver, and he's like, in accordance with section, this guy's literally enforcing a law that he's got to look up in his pocket. And I'm going to get to that in a second. Now, see, he just asked a question. All he did was ask, if I continue in this direction without giving you my identification, are you going to arrest me? He never said, I'm not giving you anything. He never said no. He never said you have no right, which he doesn't. He never says you have no authority, which he doesn't. He just says, if I continue traveling without giving you my identification, are you going to arrest me? You can see it right there in the transcript. Transcripts aren't perfect, but at least you kind of get an idea of what's going on here. And then the officer says, "Step out of the vehicle for me." He's like, "No, I'm just asking." He says, "Step out of the vehicle." Okay. Pennsylvania v. Mims, he can tell you to step out of the vehicle. He asks him, do you fear for your safety? Like, why are you telling me to get out of the vehicle?" Well, he just mentioned it. Now he's putting him in handcuffs. See, right there. He explains it very clearly, and this is not gonna look good in court. It's not gonna look good in court, folks, if they even take this case. All I did was ask you your intentions. All he did was ask, "Okay, what I'm asking you is under am I gonna be arrested if I don't give it to you? Because you have no authority." I mean, and I'm putting these words in in Bruce's mouth, because you have no authority to demand my license unless you suspect me of committing some kind of crime. But he quotes a section of the transportation code, which I'm going to get to here in just a moment. Now, there he is. Okay, so that's pretty much it right there. Bruce gets carted off, um, probably for failure to ID, under this transportation code. Now, I want to show you what this transportation code says. Okay, this is what he quoted: Texas Transportation Code, excuse me, section 521025. It's titled "License to be carried and exhibited on demand, criminal penalty." Now, he specifically cited B, right? He said 521025B, which says a peace officer may stop and detain a person operating a motor vehicle to determine if the person has a driver's license as required by this section. Okay. You cannot. Now, what this does not mean is that you can just, for example, if the officer thinks that a person does not have a driver's license, they have reasonable suspicion or probable cause to believe a person does not have a driver's license, then they can definitely stop. But what these officers seem to forget is they think that they can just stop and detain a person to determine if the person has a driver's license, and that's all they really care about, as required by this section. They have to believe that a person is operating a vehicle in some illegal way. You cannot just stop somebody to demand to see their driver's license. You cannot do that. There has to be reasonable. What this statute is for is if you are stopped on the side of the road because you didn't use your blinker, you've got a headlight out, you ran a stop sign, whatever, speeding, any of these kinds of things. When you are pulled over for reasonable suspicion or probable cause, the officer, you are required to carry a license and it should be exhibited on demand if you are suspected of committing a crime. Because why? Because the courts have ruled that this is a stop, a search, and a seizure. And so the statute that they're operating off of, yes, you do have to have a license in Texas to drive a motor vehicle on public roads. Yes, you do have to exhibit that license if it's demanded. But the question is, when can an officer demand identification? When can they demand to see a license? And the only time constitutionally under the Fourth Amendment that a person may receive a demand to present identification is if they are under arrest. That's it. Um, they can ask for identification if you're being detained, and then you can't lie about it. That's when it becomes a crime. But there is absolutely zero authority under the law and the Constitution to be able to just stop. Now, I pulled up and apparently I accidentally closed. I'm going to pull up this case law real quick. Let me pull up my Lexus real quick. I'm going to pull up the case law about driver's license checkpoints and show you that they are not legal. Let me pull up my Lexus here. I'm going to pull up the case in case y'all are wondering. I just had this thing open, so hopefully I'm able to look at my history and just go straight to it. Oh my gosh, it's not showing up. Usually I'm really good at memorizing these things, but I don't do a lot of these kinds of cases. Here, I'm just going to pull it up this way. Well, here, I'll tell you what I do know, because if you, I know it's Michigan DPS versus Michigan DPS. What was that case? Hines? Sits. So Michigan DPS versus Sits says that sobriety checkpoints are constitutional. And I deal with those all the time. But in Texas, they're not. But the Supreme Court has ruled that where they are legal, it's good to do that. Hang on. Driver's license. Why is this not showing up? Driver license, checkpoint, and constitutionality. All right. I may have to just add. I'll tell you what I'm going to do, just so that we don't have a boringly long video while I'm looking something up. I'm going to put the case law in the description as soon as I close this out, on the specifically on driver's license checkpoints. So, I thought I could pull it up quickly, but it's not showing me what I was looking for. Let me try a different. I know I just freaking looked this up before I did this video, and I'm usually really good at this. Let me see if somebody put it in here. I know that all traffic stops are arrests. I'm not worried about that. They're seizures. They're not arrests. They're seizures. Every traffic stop is a seizure. My gosh. I can't believe I dropped the ball on this. I thought I had it open and I closed it. Now I can't bring it back up. All right, I'm just gonna add it. I'm just gonna add it to the check to the I'm gonna add it to the description below so that you guys have that. My Lexus is being weird right now. It's not giving me what I'm looking for. Oh, I know why. Never mind. I put Texas, not federal. Hang on. Let me put driver license checkpoints. 'Cause I want to show this to you, because I want you guys to have. What the heck? It's still not showing me anything. So I'll have to do this later. Um, and I'll put this in the video description. So come back in about an hour, check the video description. I will have the case law down there. I don't know what is going on with my Lexus. Usually I'm really quick on Lexus, but it's not. It is not helping me today. So you guys take care. I'm gonna go ahead and close this out. I wanted to show you what happened. I will tell you that a driver's license checkpoint is not constitutional. Period. Um, this has already been decided. This is one of those things that's already been determined by the courts. And if it's a DUI checkpoint, those have been determined to be constitutional to a certain degree. Obviously, it doesn't mean they can just do whatever they want. Uh, but not a driver's license checkpoint. So you guys take care, be safe, be free. I'm going to end this. I'm going to go pull up those cases now. I know I've got them in my history, and I will post those down in the video description. In the meantime, make sure you go and subscribe to Galveston Island Transparency as well as Harvey Freebird, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.